Anybody who really loves this and isn't in it for a monetary value, that's going to be your successful companies.
What's happening, everybody? Nick Olson, Chupacabra Offroad. I'm here with Andrew.
What's going on?
And we're here with Richard Jeffries, Jeffries Performance here in Phoenix, Arizona. And if you guys have been following the channel, Andrew's got a X3 race vehicle and started off with the base model 120 horsepower. And
now we're getting it up to 200 horsepower.
yeah, as you guys know, 120 is not going to cut it, and we figured we'd come to the experts at Jeffries Performance here. So first off, before we get into all your knowledge with X3 tuning in general, why don't you give us a little bit of feedback where you guys started from? How did Jeffries Performance come to be?
You know, Jeffries Performance, we had, you know, the JP brand was born about a year ago, just coming up on a year. And prior to that, we had another company, but we were working close with EVO and Evolution Powersports since day one. Actually, Jim and Todd were a big influence into what we're doing today. They had kind of brought an idea to the table for us to do tuning on the West Coast for them and become proficient in their product. And it's been a great relationship. You know, Evolution Powersports provides what we feel is the most safe and reliable horsepower that you can get on the market today, which benefits not only us, but our clients as well for longevity in their motors.
So I know out in Southwest, the big talk, horsepower, you know, is all about the glamorous dune crowd, that type of thing. A lot of your customers, are a lot of them duners? Like, what's your kind of your average customer? Do they ride all over the place? Like, what are they looking to be at?
Yeah, you know what, I would say we have a great assortment of customers. We have guys that live in Payson, up in the trees. We obviously, Arizona and California is a big mecca for everybody to go to the dunes, but I think those guys transition into all of the other riding that you can do. You talk about the big horsepower stuff. I feel like the big horsepower stuff is popular right now, but what's been popular for a long time is doing something like you guys are doing with the race car and going from a base model and upgrading into that big horsepower package, or at least a safe, reliable horsepower package that is great for racing and the longevity of something like that.
Yeah, you know, we're starting off with the 120 horsepower base model. Andrew did a lot of the math, and we were just talking about it before we started filming. There's so many models of X3. If I'm gonna buy an X3, I haven't asked Richard, which one would you buy?
Yeah.
You know, I like to ride everywhere. You know, the smart lock is a big priority for me, but getting into the horsepower, it seems like the 120 base model is really like the best value builder's car on the market, where if you don't ride in the dunes, but you're gonna own your car for a few years, you've got so much life you can put into that car.
Oh, yeah.
So what would you, a guy who wants to start off, he's got a 120, how would you direct him if he wants to ride everywhere, dunes a couple times a year? How would you kind of guide him?
You know, first and foremost, I tell everybody octane is your first derivative. Like, if you're ready to run race gas, the world opens up to you. If you want to stay on 91 octane, which I would encourage people to. Why? Because it's readily accessible everywhere and you can get a great amount of horsepower for it. Starting with the base model, like you said, it's a great platform to start with. It has all the parts that you need to start. Realistically, you want to add your intercooler, your charge tubes, your blow-off valves, and kind of go with a great tuning platform right there, like Evolution Powersports has with the stage 1 or stage 2, and you can build on top of that. You can also take, if you had the 18 and 19 fuel pumps, if you put that inside of a base model, you can go from like a 172 all the way to a 190, and then increasing your octane, you can go all the way up into the 200s. So I definitely would say if somebody's starting out, they have a base model, I think that it's a great platform, and you can do it one of two ways. You can buy all aftermarket things, aftermarket intercoolers, charge tubes and blow-off valves, things of that nature, and really go gung-ho. Or there's guys out there that are doing these conversions for couple $100. They found a guy that took their charge tubes off and went with a EVO charge tube and blow-off valve, and they got the tubes for free. They have a takeoff intercooler from a 17 or 18 and put that in, and then simply do the tune. So there's a ton of different ways you can do it, but it's probably the most economic way to get to a horsepower range that you want to eventually. So I think it's a great platform to start on.
And so the motor and the trans are the same no matter what. So if you do want to just go up a little and build, or you can be like Andrew, where he's got to
Turn it all down with the frame.
good luck, compete with the fastest guys in the game.
Absolutely. It has all the same hard parts you would, except for obviously your intake tubes and your intercooler. So getting that and adding that along with the software is kind of the two crucial elements you need to do to kind of get to there. I would also start with some clutching after that, but that's kind of down the line when you want to figure out what wheels, tires, and horsepower you actually want to land on.
Yeah, I was curious. I'm glad you brought up clutching, because I imagine most guys want to bump up to, no matter which vehicle they've got, 32-inch tires. Maybe is the 35-inch trend kind of dead on the? I
think the 35, it peaked a little bit, and everybody loved the big look, but we also it robs horsepower, and it's really, really not good on the suspension components. I think the middle of the line, the 33s, have been the ticket. We've been running 33s for the last year now, and it's been phenomenal, especially on winter parts and horsepower-wise. So clutching is a big aspect of that. I always tell people, make sure that you don't do both at the same time. And the reason being is, if we tune something and we go run it, it could be perfect. It could be perfect with the tire size, it could be perfect with how the car reacted to the tune. Until you know that. But if you change both at the same time, you're not going to know where you land or what you need to change. So we always do those 1 and 2 and A and B. Definitely with tire size going up to 35s, if you tune it, say you do a stage 2 on an X3 and you go up to 35s, and you also have added weight to the vehicle, you're essentially just leveling that playing field and going back to stock. I don't think a lot of people understand that you can add as much horsepower as you want, but if you counter it with weight, it hurts you.
Right.
So, or it helps you get back to where you need to be.
So guys go, no matter which vehicle they have, they say they step up to 32s, they're wanting to need some clutching. Do most guys just want, let's say they're an Arizona guy, they're going everywhere, they just want a nice clutch, they don't want to deal with it? And then maybe on your personal car, a second question, would you clutch it for sand dune season, and then would you, or does everyone just kind of want one setup they can kind of set for him?
More popular than oddly, and I think you guys will understand this, it's weird that the cheapest thing that I've found for clutching happens to be the best. What we use is the Evolution Powersports, the 4-way system, right? So lighter primary, and once we install that, whether we do 3 or 4, it really helps us get to where we need to be RPM-wise. And it really is a set it and forget it. In a nutshell, 3-way and 4-way application is a great starting point to clutching. And I think that it probably exceeds what any normal consumer is going to want or need out of their car. You're essentially trying to get your car at a certain RPM rate to create a certain amount of boost, which equals power. I think that they really nailed it with that kit, and it really helps us out because it's a very simple kit, and you don't have to worry about a lot of the things when the customer leaves, a lot of external parts or things that you're not as confident in. It's a very turnkey kit to have. So, that's about it. Clutching is pretty simple on that aspect to try and get everybody on the same playing field.
Seems like a lot of chatter, Can-Am guys, this belt, that belt. What belt do you guys like? What do you recommend? What do you run in your cars?
Listen, the belt thing is crazy. Everybody has their flavor. Yeah. Everybody has a religious way of taking care of it or breaking it in. I can only speak from experience, and everybody will be like, "Oh, you're EVO fanboy, this and that." No, the badass belt for me, it started. Me and Todd went to the dunes on. It's the very last trip of the year. It's the hottest trip of the year. It's like 120 at night, and we went there at night. Linz, you were with us, right? Okay, so. I go and break 3 belts. I'm running OEM belts because I was one of those guys that was like, OEM's best. Todd's grinning and he's like, just change it to this belt. I was like, what is this belt? And he's like, just change it to it, right? So Todd's the type of guy, like we have this great relationship, but I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna change to this belt and I'm gonna blow this up in 2 minutes. We're in the dunes, powder, like the hottest, softest sand I've ever been in, a 4-seat loaded up, and I took this thing to the wood. Couldn't break it. I could not break this badass belt. And from then on, I used them. And I've had great luck with them. On Project X, I went all through Parker, 1 belt, never had an issue. I think I actually sold a car with that belt on, and I'm sure it still has the same one on it. So we use the Evolution Powersports. So the world's best belt is what I've been using lately. It's what I'm going to be using on my new car. So it's kind of the way I've been going. I encourage everybody, you go with whatever belt you think of. For me personally, I haven't been able to break them yet.
Well, you guys are the experts, so I'm sure you get a lot of that feedback from people. And
well, that and racing too. It's been crucial. Belt life is a killer. And you are literally you're 400 plus miles sometimes on a rubber band. You have to have some sort of I think trust in what you're running. Trust that.
But then it comes back to clutch though.
It does.
I'm glad you said rubber band. I'm actually a fan of CVT. I'm not against this mythical new trends. Who knows what Polaris may drop, but I'm curious what you think. I mean, there's a Silver State 300 race last week. Phil Burton beats every Class 10, $200,000 plus cars in a UTV. Is it a good way to skin the cat? Are you happy? I mean, is it giving guys as much power as they ever want? I mean, guys always want more. What do you think?
I think there's good and bads to both. I think if you take like a Honda Pioneer with a direct transmission, I personally hate driving it. I don't like the way it feels, and if it had more power, I probably would like it even less. I think a properly set up CVT can give you everything you want out of something. I do feel that no matter what, it's inevitable. The entire market is going that way. It's something that's been talked about all the time. But sometimes what you wish for isn't what you ultimately want in the end. Because if we go to transmissions, we're going to have tranny problems. So
higher MSRP. Like I was thinking the same thing. Be careful what you wish for because you might get it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's one of two ways. Obviously, with us, we don't really have the choice to just stay back. We're always, all of us are going to have to start buying the cars that are there at that time and what comes out, and we're all going to have to go through those trials and tribulations too. So I think there's good and bad to both. I'm kind of with you. I'm a CVT fan. So
it just seems like these Can-Ams have amazing belt reliability for the power that you guys are throwing down on them, and the racers and the.
It's unreal.
I mean, it seems like Polaris. Obviously, it seems like the XP Pro is better, but it just seems like Can-Am's. got an amazing package.
No, Can-Am has a phenomenal package right out of the gate. Some of the most bulletproof clutches. I mean, you're talking about. We have cars on the dyno that are exceeding 350 to 400 wheel horsepower, and this is on rubber bands.
Sick.
And I think it's great. So proper clutching setup, I think you could probably have more luck with a CVT and kind of go that route and more tunability. We also have to wonder, how are we going to change transmission to accept the power that we're putting towards it? Mm-hmm. Is it going to go gearing? Is it going to be, what do we do next? Mm-hmm. So
I look at it as I would rather spend $200 on a belt than $2,000 on a transmission.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Price of play is going to go out the roof once we go with those transmissions.
Yeah.
Speaking of spending money, let's talk about racing. Let's talk about the race car.
Rabbit hole of racing.
Our friend Adam Castenada took his X3DU. He's over the moon happy. The guy rips. I think he's got some fast finishes in his future.
Yeah.
How would you guide Andrew? How do you think about setting up a car much heavier, big fuel cell? How do you guide him?
Honestly, I think we go down the same road we did. Adam came to us and he wanted, realistically, he just wanted some power with longevity. It's what we do. Nothing leaves this shop here without us having the idea that car is going to last 5,000 to 10,000 miles, and we could possibly never see that client again. It's our goal. Same thing in the racing program, especially with EVO. They don't aim for the highest amount of horsepower. They aim for what's going to get you through that entire race safely, the most amount of horsepower you can achieve in that realm. They also do that with clutching as well. So I think that everything basing, us in your vision of being able to get across the lake beds and at a high rate of speed or out of the hole pretty quick, I think we go around the same thing. We add, your charge tubes, your intercooler, things like that. Add, we can do a 93 octane tune. You already have a fuel cell, so it's going to be delivering more fuel to the engine, so we can take advantage of that and kind of go into that 190 to 200 realm.
Well, final topic, we're sitting in front of a Razor. You guys that follow the channel know that we've been pigeonholed as Razor guys, kind of. But I'm sure you guys are working on some Razor stuff. What do you guys see with the Razor customers? What are they looking for? What are you guys working on?
You know what? Big turbo stuff right now. Big power. Evolution Powersports released their Dynamite Turbo for the Razors. Actually, that car right there sitting on the dyno is going to be lined up for that, and launch control. So they just released that. So we've gotten, it's Monday, phones have been blowing up about that alone because that's what they released this weekend. So, we've been pigeonholed as the Can-Am guys, and we love both brands very much. It's just simply what people were bringing to us. And, I think the Turbo S is a great vehicle. I think the XP Turbo, there's a very big wave coming of people that have taken some ideas and executed it pretty well. I've seen a couple really, really nice XP Pros lately. I think it's going to kind of sway that direction. So, between those two things, it's simply adding power and creating some beautiful cars.
It seems like with the hype and the energy of the X3, like it's led to so much more development, especially with horsepower. So it's either, I'm curious if that's consumer driven or it's just that the technology, the motor is so good it lends itself to it. But I mean, going out to Glam, it seems like the RZR guys are gonna get it, or have been getting beatdowns. And if I wanted to be the RZR guy who wanted to hang with the guys, the X3 guys that are all tuned, is this kind of like the package that they need to have to be?
The good thing is that, one, I always tell everybody that walks in, you're never going to be the fastest guy at the hill, right? There's always somebody there chasing you down, and you could spend $1 million trying to be the fastest guy at the hill. Now, RZR versus Can-Am guys, there's always that whether it's friendly campground talk or guys just seeing each other race up the hill, there's always going to be that. But the good thing is there's platforms for every level on both sides to bring you up to that. I would say that you can extract a good amount of power out of a RZR motor safely and compete with those guys and beat them a lot of the times. I mean, we were just in Utah, and it was a buddy of ours' wife. She was racing her RZR with a new turbo system from Evolution Powersports. She beat most of the Can-Am guys out there.
Really?
So there's a fair amount of stuff coming out, and I think with the added launch control, being able to build 8 pounds of boost out of the hole, that's a big jump, especially because you get out of the hole quicker and you're lighter. There's your race.
Question: what do you think about 3-cylinder versus 2-cylinder motor? Do you think that has a big part to play?
Everybody's gonna be like, oh,
one more cylinder. Oh my god!
Dude, the triple cylinder Rotex is, I think that the amount of power you can extract, and from what I've seen on a stock motor, and this is like from early development, Todd and Jim, and what they were pulling out of just simply a stock car that was sitting on a dyno. That's very that gets me excited. Seeing what you can do with a car without any changes is kind of, you see what that motor's capable of, and I think that gets me more excited than obviously the RZR platform motor.
Then we go talking about YXZs, 3-cylinder motor.
I can't stand YXZs.
I don't think a lot of people can.
And I hate it because there's guys all the time, great guys that just bought that. They're like, "Can you do anything?" And I was like, "No." There's nothing to give. But there are guys, especially like we're Can-Am. You see the guys. There's a heavy amount, especially in Utah, of YXZs that will blow some doors off. Beautiful cars.
Those Packer guys.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful cars. Yeah. So I think that there's a lot. There's a flavor in every kind of category. Somebody's kind of taking it. I haven't seen anybody do Textron yet. So
I'm sure that's coming.
Yeah.
But there is.
And that just goes to show you, right? You guys aren't pigeonholed as extra guys. We're not RZR guys.
No, we're an equal brand opportunity.
We love the sport.
Yes.
We're excited. We're just talking about what we hope Polaris comes out with.
Yeah.
We hope the speed UTV lives up to be. It's great for all of us. It gives us all more options. It drives prices down.
It could level everybody up. If that comes out, is what Ronnie is saying and what you guys expect. That it's gonna be great to watch.
Yeah.
Sure. And I just posted something on my IG the other day. Like I've owned like 5 RZRs before I owned a Can-Am. So like I have a special place in my heart for what got us started.
Yeah. No doubt.
So you definitely between RZR and Can-Am. I'm sure you go Can-Am all the way.
Personally, I go Can-Am, and it's the way I like to drive. I like sitting more low to the ground. When I get in a RZR, I feel like I'm driving a school bus now. And that's personal preference to everybody. Like, some people get in the X3 and they absolutely hate it. My driving style just is a lot more X3-like, and I've come to love it.
And are you more dunes or open desert, Southwest style riding? 2-seat, 4-seat. There's so many conversations that we can have.
Oddly enough, so when I started the business, I was in the desert every weekend. Then slowly transitioned to the only time I got to ride was in the dunes. So I love the dunes because there's something about when you cross the train tracks, especially on this side. You roll the train tracks, you hit the Glamis store, it's peaceful. I love the desert, and I love bombing through the desert, and that video we did in Parker was so much fun. But the dunes are probably my favorite.
Yeah, by the way, no one gets in the industry to actually go off-road. We're working too much.
It's crazy.
We try.
It's crazy. Like, you know, you used to go to shows, you used to go to, you know, and walk around and have fun. And then you start a company in it because you love it. Absolutely love it. And we're just as passionate as we were when we started, but it changes because your responsibility is in that. Start to drive you more towards your working. And it takes away from the weekends you wanted to go ride. So,
and your playing is working still.
Exactly.
You're grabbing a photo, you're making sure the camera's on.
At all times. I mean, we went duning.
Because so much money started to cut you off to get out to Glamis. Like, you can't not get a photo for social or video
100%, 100%. Especially, you know, Lindsay, she's content, no matter what. We went riding out in Idaho. It was like so much fun. And then like you catch yourself, like you said, oh, I got this hit. Like, let's take a photo of it. Does it look good? I'll do it again. And it takes it out of you. But you can't complain. We're in one of the most amazing industries, and the amount of love and aspiration like that we have for it, I think, is what drives our businesses. And I think that's why, you know, anybody who really loves this and isn't in it for a monetary value, that's going to be your successful companies. That's you know, it's definitely what we do.
Yeah, I mean, I think ultimately the dollar to fun ratio of this sport, you know, like when I was younger, I got to ride in a full-blown desert car, and it changed my life, Class 1 car. And not that this is a Class 1 car, but the amount of fun you can have for what they are, how much you can beat on them and how much they hold up, where you can do with them, it's pretty.
Class 1 cars.
Yeah, probably coming soon.
Right? No, and I think you're right. For say your average person spends between $20,000 and $30,000. You know, coming from, you look at everybody in off-road, they spend hundreds of thousands, if not millions, to do and ride in some of the places we can still go riding. Obviously not to the level of the safety that they're in, but you know, for you to be able to take your family out and go do experiences and get people outdoors, I think this is one of the best sports, and you see it right now with everything going on and COVID and things like that. You know, I'm sure most of us in this business, we kind of held our breath the first week, and the second week we're like, okay, you know, it's more of a want than a need. Well, it turned into a need because people needed to get out. People needed to go out and do things with their families, and we became one of the most successful industries in what I would say in the last 10 years. It's probably the biggest fallout. Yeah. So, very exciting stuff, and it's cool to see everybody move that way. And I think that not only do they move that way to being outdoors with their families and like that, they take this and it becomes something else for them other than, you know, simply buying a toy. It becomes a lifestyle.
Exactly.
You know, you roll into it, and every day you're scrolling through and you're liking other people's stuff and seeing what somebody's done, or you know, you see this roof rack, I gotta get that. It's cool to elevate all the time. Some people get to their cars and they're fully done, just to strip them back down and do it again because they enjoy it. So
you got to be all into this lifestyle, man. You got to have the truck, the trailer. That's what I love about off-roaders. I mean, you're in it.
Oh yeah.
You can't go rent one here and there. Like, you go to Glamis, you get hooked, then it's like, okay, I need a garage.
Like if you rent it, the next thing is purchasing.
Well, thanks for your time. Thanks for all the knowledge. We'll be back when Andrew's car gets put together. I need to get some tuning done on it, and then we'll lean on you guys again. Hopefully come back and do some video. Hopefully we can see you guys riding this season too. If you guys want to learn more, chat with the guys. We're going to put their description or their email, website, phone number, everything in the description. Follow them on social. Thanks a ton, guys. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys. It's going to be a fun year.
If you guys like the content, please like and subscribe. We got a lot more coming your way.